The drug Stilnox is one of the most popular sleeping pills in the world, but after several years of controversy, it's under review by the Therapeutic Goods Administration. In the past few years, there's been a growing number of reports to a national consumer hotline, linking the drug to up to 14 deaths and a range of bizarre side effects, from hallucinations to sleep driving. The TGA last year upgraded its warnings to Stilnox users, but many health professionals believe the drug is now being overprescribed and often misused by patients. And such is the concern, the TGA will tomorrow consider whether Stilnox needs to be rescheduled as a drug of abuse. Deborah Cornwall reports.
One of Mairead's close friends described what Mairead must have been going through as similar to somebody putting drugs in your cereal every morning and you having all of these experiencing all of these crazy side effects, but having no idea what was happening and imagining that you were going mad.
That's my message.
Mairead Costigan was just weeks away from graduating with a PhD in philosophy when she fell to her death from the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Security video footage of Mairead Costigan's last moments alive shows she'd walked from her parents' home barefoot and in her pyjamas. Her family are convinced she was sleepwalking, even as she scaled the chest-high wall over the bridge.
We did see the CCTV footage that the police had obtained. Mairead had a completely blank expression on her face, as though she just wasn't fully conscious at all. Didn't look distressed, didn't look upset, just looked completely expressionless.
The Costigan family believes Mairead had been suffering the combined effects of the sleeping sedative Stilnox and another Z-class drug, Imovane. In the 8 months leading up to her death, Mairead had been repeatedly prescribed Stilnox to treat her chronic insomnia, well beyond the recommended 4-week limit for the drug. Her family says in the last few weeks of her life, she was barely sleeping at all and extremely anxious and confused.
She had no idea why she was feeling like this. I think she believed that the Stilnox was going to help her insomnia, and in fact it was having the opposite effect. I think that was extremely distressing for her, to have no idea of the cause of the changes in her behaviour.
Just 6 days before she died, Mairead Costigan's doctor switched her medication to Imovane. Like Stilnox, it also carries product warnings that sleepwalking and suicidal thoughts may be possible side effects.
This is a very important case. Possible that she became depressed and developed suicidal thoughts, because those are documented possible side effects in those drugs' product information. And then on the night when she died, she possibly sleepwalked, and because we know that's what those drugs can do.
Geraldine Moses is head of the Adverse Medicine Events Line, a national consumer hotline. She's led the charge in Australia in raising the alarm about Stilnox and other Z-class drugs, including Imovane, and points to a worrying trend that in the past year alone has led to more than 400 reports of side effects linked to Stilnox. Among the reports were 32 cases of people sleep eating, a rare phenomenon captured here on video by one of the leading sleep research centres in the world.
And at first I didn't believe them either. They all sounded really strange. But as the numbers accumulated over the time and we started to get repeated reports of people eating, cooking, smoking and driving automobiles, whilst they're unaware of doing so and they're essentially still asleep, we started to make the association that this could be a drug-induced behaviour.
But a good night's sleep doesn't have to be an on-off thing anymore.
Marketed as Ambien in the United States, Stilnox is the sleeping pill of choice for more than 250,000 Australians. It first hit the market here 7 years ago, widely touted as the safer, gentler alternative to earlier generation sedatives like Valium. And despite a growing number of complaints in Australia, Sanofi Aventis, the drug company that produces Stilnox, says in reality, serious side effects like sleepwalking are still extremely rare, and not one of the reports in Australia have produced any evidence of a direct link to Stilnox.
And in many of the cases where Stilnox has been used, it's been used inappropriately. So it's been used together with alcohol, which is a clear contraindication, highlighted contraindication. It's been mixed with a number of other medications, including antidepressant medications, or it's been used at excessive doses or too long a period of time.
So far, the medical community remains divided.
It's sort of surprising that this information about funny sort of side effects is coming out after 20 years, and that's what sort of concerns us in the field. The reality is that I'm aware of only about 600 medically verified cases of sleepwalking with Stilnox out of 16 billion doses of the drug. Okay. So you're taking these along as well?
Yep.
Sleep disorder expert Professor Ron Grunstein says much of the concern about the alleged side effects of Stilnox appear to have been generated by media hysteria.
We've had Jack Nicholson talking about that he almost drove off the road because he was taking Stilnox, and, you know, that's just stupid. You don't take hypnotic medications and drive. Last year we had guys who, 2 ex-police charged with armed robbery, saying Stilnox made me do it. You know, it gets a bit ridiculous.
But the National Prescribing Service, which promotes responsible use of pharmaceuticals among medical professionals, says it wouldn't be the first time Australia has raised the alarm about unknown side effects.
Stilnox has been, I guess, on our radar for a couple of years. I think what we're dealing with is a very high suspicion there's some really serious issues here.
Come on, you go.
Certainly, its potential as a party drug has not been missed in America, where YouTubers openly spruik their hallucinogenic ambient experiences.
We are aliens! Aliens from another world. And we are addicted to Ambien and can't sleep.
It's that kind of abuse that has prompted Australia's Therapeutic Goods Administration, the TGA, to consider much tighter restrictions on Stilnox at a meeting with state health authorities tomorrow. There are also concerns that despite upgraded warnings on the drug last year, Stilnox is still being overprescribed by doctors and may have to be reclassified as a highly restricted drug of abuse. The makers of Stilnox have opposed the move, calling instead for better education about the use of the drug.
We certainly don't believe that rescheduling the medication and Stilnox or this class of medications is of any benefit or in the patient's best interest.
But for the Costigan family, it would at least be a start.
We just feel that we won't rest until this drug is withdrawn from the market completely.
Deborah Cornwall with that report. Summer's flooding rains across Queensland and New South Wales